You know, if you've been following me, I've never liked MLMs ever in my life. And I have been approached 1,000 times. I get an inbox at least once or twice a week from a random person that don't know nothing about me, asking me to join their MLM, sending me their link, sending me some script that somebody told them to get, and somebody told them to go get them an influencer so that that influencer can influence other people to participate in some shit, right? And it always offends me because they don't even know me, right? So because they don't know me, but they feel so comfortable reaching out to me that way. And you know how I look at it? I look at it like you don't know me. You don't know nothing about my business. You don't know nothing about what I do, but you're asking me to come work for you, right? Why would I? What about you would make me want to come work for you? Because that's what I'd be doing, right? Because you got no motion, no influence, no followers, no nothing. And you want me to join you in what? What's the benefit to me when I got my own motion? If I was lost in the sauce and didn't know what to do, if I wasn't teaching people real estate and tax liens, if I wasn't teaching people how to buy cars with no money down, if I wasn't doing all of the things that I have taught women, including when I introduced Bitcoin to you when it was just $200, $400, and now it's tens of thousands. And had you listened to me, you all would have been rich. Had I not been that chick, oh, and don't mention credit. I'm the one who put you on to what the CFPB is. You're welcome. For everyone who built their career off of my knowledge. So if I wasn't her, then maybe, but I'm her. So last year, I joined an MLM because a friend of mine talked me into it. Excuse me. And I say talk me into it because I said no the first 6 times. But the product was learning how to trade. And that was something that I'd always wanted to do since I introduced Bitcoin. When I introduced Bitcoin, it wasn't about trading. I introduced Bitcoin because I'm a visionary and I can see where it was going, right? And so I introduced Bitcoin when it was about 200. I think the first time I mentioned it, it was $200. And then when I started pushing it, it was 400 and it jumped to 800. And I really started pushing people to get on it. When you guys finally listened to me late, it was around 4,000. But that's still outstanding, right? I'm saying all that to say is I consider myself a leader and I consider myself the type of person that like to put people who follow me on, right? So when this person approached me to join their MLM, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Once I realized that I could teach women a skill that would allow them to be able to make money without even communicating with anybody. Look, I'm all in, right? But what ended up happening, because I was very adamant about as long as the people aren't the product, right? As long as the people aren't the product, then I'll do it. As long as the product is the product. And they always tell me, you don't have to recruit. You don't have to do this. You don't have to spend no time. And then next thing you know, it's 17,000 fucking meetings. It's, oh, just be on this call. Next thing you know, I'm doing a Zoom every other fucking day and sending out emails and totally distracted from my own business. My own business started to suffer because I think I'm helping everybody, getting them into this thing and they're going to learn how to trade and all these different things. But let me tell you what I then started to see. I wasn't learning how to trade, right? I wasn't learning how to trade. And could that have been some fault of my own? I don't know. But I definitely wasn't learning how to trade. So one day I'm complaining to my son and I'm like, I'm not really learning nothing and I'm frustrated. And I have been gifted like $10,000 or something like that. I don't know. Okay. So I was like, I want to take this money and make more money with it. So my son was like, let me help you. So he started teaching me how to scalp. He started teaching me how to trade penny stocks, right? Which they tell you not to do. But I jumped in it and I took about 5,000 of the money and I started playing around with it. Next thing you know, within, I would say 10 to 14 days, and I'll put it right here. This is how I was making money. Okay. Quickly. So I went from like 5,000 and I took my money out and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I made about 17,000 in like a couple of days or something like that on my own, right? So I'm like, why I need to bring people in when the information is where it's at? And what helped me with the stock, I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm just gonna be honest. So don't ask me, Nico, teach me. No, I can't. That's why I didn't teach my ladies. what I learned is that my ADHD, and this is real talk, my ADHD allowed me to pick up on patterns. So every morning when I would log into the stock market, I would pick up on patterns. And I watched and watched and watched and watched for days. And then when I started seeing a pattern with a particular stock, and the way that my son taught me to look at it and how to gauge it, and he taught me all these different things, I was like, okay, I could do this. And so I started making like $1,000 to $2,000 a day, right? I think that I made the 3,000. Well, I don't think, but I made the 3,000 because I had lost like 6,000 the day before, so I really made like 7, but I only profited 3. I'm saying all that to say that. So I'm making a ton of money, and very quickly. Like my average, I would say, again, I only did it for like a couple of weeks, and I made about 17,000. So I was averaging, like I said, about $1,000 a day. Now this is Monday through Friday, not Saturdays and Sundays. So it was about 14-day span, maybe a little longer. Maybe it was 14 days, weekdays, I should say, about. And I'm making a shitload of money. And this is the thing. Nobody in the business was excited for me. They weren't like, oh my God, Nico, like you, girl, like, you doing it. Like, that's why you joined. This is it. It was like, And I'm like, hey man, like, ain't this why you invited me in? You wanted me to learn and you wanted me to make money, right? So if people aren't the product and I'm making money, then what's happening here? Why the disappointment? I got pissed off and left, because I'm like, okay, if you ain't happy for my results, like I got so good, I'll tell you where I went wrong. I got so good at it that I'm gonna get back into it again, but I'm gonna do it with more discipline. My son told me, don't be greedy. He told me that. Then I was watching a stock that I had already made like $5,000 on, right? And it looked like it was about to do some stuff. So I took all the money I had and dumped it in there. And when I saw it going, first it went up. So I made about $3,000-$4,000 in like 10 minutes. And then it started going down. I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. It's going to go back up. Don't be greedy, because I'm like, if it go back up, if it even go up to like this, I have my little calculations, then I'm gonna have $150,000. I'm willing to take that risk. So I bet it all and lost, right? Here's the irony of it. Inside the MLM, what I never liked about them is it always seemed like the top 8 and the bottom starved. That's what I always hated about it. Like when I did my tax liens, right? When I took, let me see how many people. I think I had 78 people who had bought my program. And I think that's about right, because I was charging like $1,500 a person, and I made like damn near $100,000, something like that. So I think I had about 78 people. Out of those 78 people that I bid for in the tax lien, I'm about certain that 77 or 76 of them won a property, and specifically the one that they wanted. And people who didn't win, I had bought extra ones and they bought from that. So I want to say 10 out of 10. To me, that's the goal, right? It's not just I win and you get to watch me win, and you get to celebrate my wins and people you see winning while you're losing. And that's what bothered me. That's what's always bothered me about it. And even if I like the products in the business, it just, I don't know, I don't want no meetings. I don't want no fucking meetings to talk me into working harder to get nothing. And when I look at it statistically, and I remember they used to say things like there's cliche statements like, oh, even Donald Trump, they don't really use that one no more because of the situation, but oh, even Donald Trump said that he would start one. Yes, start one, not join one. Number one. Oh, it's no different than working a job. Tell me what company where 70 to 99% of the people are losing and don't make $1. Show me a company that you work for where everybody is losing and only the CEO and the COO and the CFO make money in that company. Nobody, you don't go home with a paycheck. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay nothing. And you paying them to show up for work. So a corporate structure, don't be confused with a corporate structure being a pyramid in design, but not a pyramid in actuality, because there's a significant difference there, right? If I take a job right now, I don't have to come and get you to join my company in order for me to get paid that Friday or every other Friday. You get what I'm saying? So those kind of phrases are very deceiving, and they're not true, right? Because it doesn't cost me to go to work every day. And the weight that's used is, well, look at the potential here. In a corporation, you couldn't get that CEO spot, but in this business, you could very well be that CEO. The problem with that methodology is that, again, over 80% of people will never even get to get a raise, let alone get to that CEO position. The amount of people is so freaking tiny and minute that the product in those types of scenarios will always be the people. It will always be the people, because product companies, the product is the product, and that's why the product companies don't need you to bring anybody in. They just need you to come to the store and spend your money, right? And you don't have to show up to no meetings. You don't have to recruit. You don't have to do anything. But anytime you have to do those things, and I'm all for affiliate programs, and affiliate programs I actually like, because affiliate programs, you don't have to do anything. You can, if you want to. It's not required, and it doesn't cost you. That's the problem. Like, it doesn't cost you. And if I said, okay, if you guys want to sell my tax lien program, send me an email. If you want to do this, if you want to do that, if you want to sell my dealership secrets program, send me a message to my email. It doesn't cost you anything. And if someone buys, you make money. That's an affiliate. I like that business model, because that business model, it does have a hierarchy, but you actually can build yourself up depending on how many sales you get. Let's say if I was offering, let's say $25 for a sale, and you were a huge influencer and 1,000 people joined, you made $25,000, and you did nothing outside of share the information, right? It doesn't cost anyone anything, and they're only buying because they see a benefit in it for them. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And again, this is not to slight anyone or anything like that, but y'all got to stop trying to control how other Black women think, how other Black women talk, other Black women's stories, other Black women's narrative, if it doesn't, condone what you're doing, right? You could not like tax liens, right? But I tell you one thing, again, the people who have done that business with me, you see them in the comments. I'm not asking them to say, oh, I bought a tax lien for $500 and sold it for $30,000. I ain't asked them that. There's plenty of people who stole my business model and ran with it. They weren't even doing tax liens. They was doing wholesaling or fixing flips. Now they doing tax liens because they see that not only is it beneficial for them, but it's beneficial for other people. When you're wholesaling, it's hit or miss. Tax liens is really, really, really good, because the government pretty much guarantees that you don't lose once you do your proper due diligence, right? But it pretty much is a guarantee that you won't lose. Where in these other businesses is there a guarantee that people aren't going to lose? They couldn't put one, because if that large of a percentage of people are going to lose coming into business with me, I don't want it. Now, some of it is because some of y'all is lazy as shit, which is why you get into these businesses. And that's a whole different conversation about the psychology of your mind and why you consistently gravitate to get rich quick schemes and get credit quick schemes, which is a secondary get rich quick scheme. It's all the same. It's all from a different branch on the same tree, right? And you probably can't even help it. You've conditioned your mind that hard is too hard, and you're in pain and you want to get out of it, and that's what they tap into. Your desire. Look at this car. Don't you want this car? Like, look at this car, look at this BBL, look at this bust down, look at this Benz, look at this house, look at this vacation, look at these things. And you're looking at that, and you're looking past the fact that the likelihood of you getting there through that pathway is almost zero.